Hello, it's Adder. I'm doing a more traditional video on the subject, and it's my first scripted video, so bear with me here. I'm making this video because I've been approached by a few friends and people in my local Discord and inquiring me and asking me questions on, what should I build or what they should do with their accounts coming into Honkai Star Rail. So, as a free-to-play player myself, saving and knowing the meta quickly is important if you want to establish a couple of late game clear comps without fruitlessly spending stellar jades. So this video will be like a general Q&A type deal for general long-term and short-term progression for free-to-play and low-spending accounts. For the very new players, my answer for you is simple. On the whole "what should I do" question, it's just play the game. Just play the game. Play away, enjoy the story, do the mini games, check out side quests and old events. All of it has plenty of rewards, and many of these activities can scratch many different itches players may have. Plus, it's a good change up in scenery. And in gameplay, it can be nice. You can spend your normal banner tickets to itch that scratch of polling while you're saving your other stellar jades for banner tickets that you're gonna need. And just kind of wait until you reach level 70 Trailblaze. From there, you can really start farming and building teams and start picking supports and characters for teams you can plan to build towards. With things like Stellar Convergence, Shop, and Nova Flares buffing older units, there's less of a chance for you to brick your account by investing in a dead character in the meta. If you take these into account and do a bit of research on just like what characters complement each other and what flagship teams are in the meta to look for, there's a good for certain that you'll likely have a smooth ride and enjoy the experience. Good or bad luck on your pulls, no matter. This is kind of the safe route. Just remember, it is a free game. It's been out for 3 years, and there's a lot of moving parts and variables here. So take your time and have fun along the ride. Moving on to our more established, but still year one players, people that are still learning the ropes, but have a little bit more of a sense of where they're at. Maybe just hitting 70 and stuff like that. A lot of you will probably still have hurdles on your account that are going to be pretty specific based off of the decisions you made up until this point. It'll be based off of your roster specifically, what light cones you have, stuff like that, what Eidolons you may have gotten lucky. Maybe you lost a 50-50, but now you have like an E2 or E3 Welt or something. Things like that out of standard banner can be useful. So we'll use some common examples I've heard and seen lately that people along the lines of hitting max level and ready to get into late game content may run into in the current era of Honkai Star Rail. So say you have like an archer and Rin just came out, and you are building a flagship archer team, but you don't have Sparkle. You don't know when Sparkle will run again, and you don't really have any other way to get her besides wait, right? So I would say if you're missing that, that's a pretty important piece of the pie for that specific team. I feel like Sparkle is what truly lets Archer really shine. So what are your options here? I would say for anyone in this boat, another skill neutral action advancer is going to be your safest bet. So something like Branya, Hanya, or Robin can all replace Sparkle in that comp. Although they're not going to do exactly what Sparkle's going to do. Now, if you have your Stellar Convergence token still, I would suggest not utilizing that if you do not have Sparkle and you'd like Sparkle. I would suggest holding that and just pray that Hoyo puts Sparkle in the Stellar Convergence shop rotation. Or you can just wait for her banner to rerun if and when that is. Obviously, that's the old shtick there is when. So next we'll deal with Remembrance. So if you have like Castris or Hyacinth and not the other, fear not unless you have Castris and not Hyacinth. because Hyacinth is just a good sustained DPS on her very own. You can kind of just throw her into like a need any sustain, right? Or need any sub DPS sustain. She can kind of just do that with her and Fat Fuck. So I think that having Hyacinth alone, you're not like locked to Remembrance with her, whereas like Castress is pretty picky about what she wants on her team. So Castress is really going to want like a mono Remembrance flagship team, right? So if you have Castress, you're in a little bit more of a boat where if you don't have Hyacinth, you're gonna need to probably get Hyacinth or B replace her with Ho-Ho or another sustain healer until you can get Hyacinth. For Castress going forward, I think that if you just miss Cyrene coming, that's okay because you can definitely go for Robin Summeret here, the Robin SP coming out in another patch or so. She is a side grade, I believe, for Remembrance support. She doesn't do everything that Cyrene does, obviously, but she is going to fill that role of the team support category. Certain things to look out for if you are going to invest into Summeret Robin SP is that if you have Evernight as a sub DPS on your mono Remembrance flagship team, you may need to move her or deal with the fact that she does not play well with others when it comes to Robin. Because of how Evernight works, she doesn't actually ever attack as herself as the damage source, and how Robin works is she has a vibes mechanic based off of players doing damage to enemies. They stack vibes, giving them, I believe, crit damage and crit rate bonus from Robin, but because Evernight never is the source of damage, it's her memo sprites that do everything. She actually can't trigger Robin's support at all, from what I've read. So, you'll have to find a new sub DPS out of the Remembrance pool, which is fine because you have Remembrance main character, so you can just like swap Castress for RMC if you really don't have any other options. So it's not the worst case scenario if you need to side grade and miss Cyrene there. So hopefully that kind of deals with the general Remembrance stuff. It's either like I have Castress, right, and I need something to make her work. I need a flagship team. What can make that work? Or B, where can I get Hyacinth, right? I need Hyacinth. Or if I have Hyacinth, that's all I have, then you just, don't worry, Hyacinth's fine. Use her with whatever. That's just the general flagship Remembrance team we'll go over for an example. Moving on now, we'll head over to some Elation currently. So for Elation, you need only ask yourself a simple question. Do I have Yao Guang? If yes, go ahead and grab Adventuring SP if you don't have a carry already, and wait for Pearl in about late 4.6 to 4.7 for our expected Elation sustain, and you should be good to go. So if you have Sparksy or Silverwolf 99 or Evanescia already, you won't need Adventuring SP as he's a side grade hyper carry for the Elation team. So if you have Evanescia, Sparksy or Silverwolf, you can still run those. Although I will say that Sparksy is a niche case. She is she's just generally a skill point hog, and I just think she fits better as a sub DPS on Silverwolf 999's team. Silverwolf 999 is more of a premium character. If you're going to go into her, you should have probably invested hard into her banner when it's up, and when it comes up again, she's a great vertical investment if you can afford to go into her. Evanescia is probably the safest hyper carry for Elation right now. If you're planning on digging into an Elation hyper carry and you have Evanescia, it's worth waiting for a rerun for her to get her E1 or E2. They're both really good. She's probably the most free-to-play friendly character out of the 3 or 4 carries that'll be here now. Once we have Adventuring SP, so I think that Evanescia is probably your safest bet. But if you don't have her, we'll see how Adventuring plays out. beyond that, there's not much else going on with Elation. Obviously, the more Elation characters you can have, the better. Yao Guang is our only Elation support, really, besides MC, but he's kind of a sub DPS support anyway, so like you gotta have Yao Guang. All right. From there, we'll kind of shoot through onto Super Break, follow up attack, and dot players. Some things that have kind of left by the wayside a bit. I'd say personally, play off of these Nova Flare buff characters from these pools, and stick to the newer general supports and sustains until Hoyo decides to give them some love with a new planar set or a new relic set to let dot or follow up attack kind of come back in or super break come in. So specifically super break, I would only really keep going with super break if you have Firefly and you're willing to vertically invest into Firefly. Like try to avoid side grade carries like Boot Hill and Rappa. Boot Hill's just kind of awkward, like can work for himself in some late games stuff still. Like there's a certain few things that he can do pretty well for himself, but like don't force Boot Hill. Don't even bother Rappa. They're kind of just in a corner that I don't think they'll ever climb out of. I'd be surprised if they did. They're just that far gone. So unless you like cannot help yourself and like you like love Boot Hill or like love Rappa or like love one of these side grade characters, then I guess go for them. But don't be surprised if you're not like zero cycle and stuff, right? So from there, I'd say we can move on to like follow up attack. So honestly, it's the same thing. Nova Flare's there. Hope Topaz and Numby get some love at some point, and there's really not much else you can. Or maybe a new follow up attack support will come out. Maybe they'll do something with Jinyuan. I don't know. It's we'll have to wait. I my guess is as good as yours. With I don't really have much for follow up attack, and then dot players. We have Kafka and Black Swan. If you're using either or, you're kind of at the mercy of Hoyo. Kafka with her dot can still get a lot of uses out of like pure fiction and stuff like that. So there are some like just AoE clears that Kafka's gonna have okay time with, but I'd also just stick to keep with the modern support, stick to Nova Flares, and hope that they come out with something for you. If you do have a specific hyper carry in one of these niche or kind of older team comps like follow up attack or dot or super break, just keep looking for your rerun banners. Look for your key team members and keep trying to get the Eidolons that you need if you need them. And look into characters that you know, so you know what's vertical investable and what's worth just having to have, right? And keep up the grind. Keep having that fun out there. Get to year 2. Now moving on to the more invested players that are in a hole, maybe of blindly or not paid attention so much with the horse blinders on and walk themselves into a little bit of a brick scenario. I'd say pick to a comp, right? Pick a comp and stick to it. Like whether you don't have a lot of it or not, just pick an Elation unit and say, okay, I'm going to take my crap team I'm using and farm up until I can get the next character for that. And then throw a sustain that'll work with it and run the 3 Elation units you can get. Use those to gain more Stellar Jades because you'll be able to clear more content with it, and use that cleared content Stellar Jades to save into building your next comp. Like whether it be building around Archer, whether it be building around the next path we get, what comes after Elation. From there, and having really focusing on the long-term goal and just hitting them stepping stones as you go to fix your account is your best option if you're not going to pay your way out or just start over. And in doing so is by getting good general supports, good general sustains, and then slapping them onto the hyper carry with the sub DPS that goes with them, and then from there filling it out if you can. That way you'll have something that functions to a minimal level, but you don't have just a completely bricked account anymore. Beyond that, just don't give up. Keep the grind going. It's going to be a little bit before you get anywhere. It might seem like you're being a dead horse, but just stay at it. Stay focused on the solution and not the problem, and you'll be out of there in no time. Generally moving on to just all players. Nothing truly bricks your Honkai Star Rail account. So don't worry about like these like, oh, you took this trace so it's bricked, or you can't speed tune this character because you took this trace and now it's bricked, or you took an Eagle, you got an Eagle out of this character and now they don't function like they're supposed to. Don't worry about that stuff. That's for sweaty min-maxing whales that generally just want to like zero cycle stuff. Like you still get full rewards if you clear it in 9 cycles or 1 cycle. It does not matter. So don't worry about that too much unless that really bothers you about min-maxing. But at that point, what are you doing on this video? Just get your wallet out at that point. Keep in mind that vertical investment in characters can be a massive time and resource sink with little difference in results. Make sure if you're going to vertical invest in insert character like Acheron or something, that it's actually worth, and you know what is going to be a difference between an E2 Acheron and an E6 Acheron. Understand that difference and say, is this worth the investment for me to have that difference, and is that difference going to clear my content to get me what I desire out of those results, whether it be more Stellar Jades or a slower cycle count. What is your desire for the goal of your content? What do you want out of your account? Try to avoid just grabbing flashy player or character of the year, anniversary character that you have nothing to support it with. Don't just have a bunch of big guns and no clips to load them with or support them with. Try to grab those supports and sustains when you can. They'll last so much longer usually than investing in building investing in building them into characters you'll get along the way rather than just having every carry. And that about wraps up my general advice for players in different stages of play. I might do another video on the ins and outs of elation comps and go more into the specifics on the mechanics of how to play around, punchline and how to correctly cycle certified banger with different characters with the 3 available carries for elation. So I'll speculate and talk about what we'll know about Aventurine SP and how he'll shake out the elation comps with what we know of him as of making that video. But beyond that, thanks for sticking around till the end of the video. Put a bit of time into the script and putting this together, so if you enjoyed it, or you feel like you learned anything from the content, feel free to give a thumbs up to the video and hit that subscribe button for more potential HSR content in the future. You've been great. I've been Adder. You take care now.